good day for everybody. And today we continue our virtual travel in Europe, not only in Europe. Previously we visited South Africa, also online. And our main goal is to know more about different educational systems, technologies and innovations, what is related with our module. And today we have Professor Gabriel Gorghiu from Romania, and in particular from Valahia University of Târgoviște, if I pronounced well. And he is really well-known professor and good teacher and lecturer, and by the way also good friend. And in addition, as far as I know, he is also head or director of Center for Scientific Research and Innovation in Educational Sciences, etc., etc. And possible Gabriel will add something more interesting and important. Please, Gabriel, it's now your time.
Thank you very much, Vincentas. Thank you, and thank you for your kind invitation. And it's a good opportunity for me to have contact with some teachers from Lithuania. It is not the first time that I work with Lithuanian teachers and head of schools, because in the past we had some projects, and I remember that our collaboration with Lithuanian colleagues and teachers were perfect, really perfect, very professional people, very engaged people in all the activities, and it is a privilege to have again the possibility to be in contact with you. And my impression about Lithuania, because I was there for 4 times, if I remember well, is very good. Last year I was invited in Vincentas conference in Šiauliai, and also we had very good time there and met very good people. So again, I answer yes with a lot of pleasure to Vincentas' request to have a meeting with you for 1.5 hours and discuss with you and share some maybe for you interested topics and issues that probably interested not here are not here interesting, but also in the whole Europe. Okay, as Vincentas say, my name is Gabriel Gorghiu. Well, I'm a professor in teacher training department, and I'm working in Valahia University Târgoviște since 1993. So more than 31 years just in university education. Okay, I have also experience in secondary education for 2 years as a teacher, and you know that this profession, to be a teacher, is one which is full of challenges and full of, let's say, issues that appear in our life, in our profession, that we have to face each time. Okay, if Vincentas, if everything is okay, I try to share the presentation, because I need also to have a visual, you know, image of what is our university. And okay.
Okay, let's try. It's okay. It should work.
Just a moment. Just let me know if everything is okay.
Yes, it's okay. Just full mode and.
Yeah. Now I can't see you, but I see my presentation. Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay. Is it moving? Yes. Okay. So maybe we can make like this. I start to discuss about some slides from this presentation. This presentation is very big, more than 100 slides. Probably we do not have enough time to take to have a look on each one. But please, I will stop at a moment, and if you have questions, please don't be shy. Let's try to make a dialogue at the moment, and if you are interested in some issues, please let me know, and I try to answer to you. Is it okay for you, Vincentas? Okay. So, as I told you, we are coming from a city called Târgoviște. And what do we have here on this slide is the map of, let's say, Eastern Europe and the part of Asia, because Turkey is also there at the whole. You see, and you know where is Romania? You know that our country was a part of the communist part of the Europe more than 35 years ago, starting with 1945, after the Second World War is finished. So Romania now is a part of European Union, starting with 1st of January 2007. And it's an interesting country for those who haven't the possibility to travel here. Maybe it's very interesting because you can find here mountains, fields, hills, and also Black Sea. Okay, and we are living in the city called Târgoviște, who was a former residence, a former capital of in our history we called Valahia Principality, which is situated in the south part of the country. Valahia was the name in that period. 14th, 15th century of this southern part of the country. And, you know, in the communist period, it was an intention of our leaders, former leaders, you know, Nicolae Ceaușescu, okay, to move the administrative capital from Bucharest to Târgoviște, okay, but you know what's happening in 1989 and our history was changed completely. Okay, the distance from the capital of Romania, Bucharest, is just 80 kilometers, so it is not far. Very near to the airport, in fact, around 60 kilometers to the main airport of Romania called Henri Coandă. And if you travel to this region, if you travel to Târgoviște, you will see a lot of historical buildings, a lot of historical artifacts. So we are called the Citadel of 33 Princes, because here it was a very, let's say, fruitful medieval life. And now, from the historical point of view, we have some artifacts like Princely Court, which is the former residence of Valahia's kings. And now it's one of the most important city in this part of the country. Of course, we cannot be compared with Bucharest, but together with other important cities in the south, like Ploiești, like Pitești, we try to develop our life and to have, you know, a real center of democracy and culture in our city. Okay, and talking about the university, in the first step of introducing establishments for education were made in the 15th, 16th century. And now we call that our university is practically a university which has the name of a country. Take into account that Valahia is the former name of this part of this region of Romania. And we try to have here a high quality educational process and also to develop the scientific research. But we do not forget the students, because for them there is a campus with a lot of good facilities for them, and also we are open to what is happening now in Europe, being involved in a lot of projects with interesting results, not just at the national level, but also to European level. Here I have a movie, but I think it is not the time to see the whole movie about the university. And just to tell you that the university is quite young. It was founded in 1992, on the 1st of June 1992. So now we have 32 years old. Next year we will have 33 years old. So it is what's called a young institution, which was fully set up in the period who is coming after the communist period. Okay, I will skip the movie, but just a few facts about our institution now, because we are evaluated by the European University Associations through the institutional evaluation program, and we reach the high confidence rate, which was given several times by the Romanian Agency for Quality Assurance in Higher Education. So we had all the certifications, all the evaluations acting like a comprehensive university. And in its structure, we have 10 faculties. And here, if you see the whole spectrum of topics, we have economics, we have engineering grouped in 3 faculties, we have sciences, we have arts, and arts is represented by the music department with our colleagues and the students. We have humanities, here we have history, we have geography, we have physical education and kinetotherapy, we have Orthodox theology, we have educational science, we have political science, letters, communication, law, administrative sciences, and also a campus which is 150 kilometers away in the southern part of Romania, in the residence of the Teleorman County named Alexandria. There we have a faculty of science and engineering with four specialization. The university consisted also of 2 doctoral schools, one in economics and humanities and one in engineering, and 3 departments, distance and lifelong learning department, foreign languages studies department, and teacher training department. I am a professor in teacher training department, and we take care mainly about preparation of the future teachers or prospective teachers, but also we are involved in many programs and work with real teachers, let's say, starting from pre-primary education till upper secondary education, and not only. And from the research perspective, we have accredited 16 research centers, and I don't want to tell you about each because it will take too long. Just the last one, I put it in the last one, but I hope there is not the last one in terms of research. It's our research center for psychopedagogical studies, IT Radu was a professor of pedagogy, very famous in the past, and he trained a lot of generation of students. And also he was involved after 1990 in the preparation of teachers and future teachers in our university. But this research center developed a lot of projects, educational projects with a good impact in the educational and local and regional and national level. And what I want to introduce now, because this is relative new, is the fact that we take part, we are part in an European University Consortium. I don't know if you know more about this call made by European Union and started 3 years ago. 3 years ago, there were the first, let's say, tries to set up a consortium, an European consortium. And the first institutions that we contacted in this respect was from Italy and Slovakia, Bulgaria, Turkey, Czech Republic, and Portugal. And we started to develop some common activities, and we try to find some ways in which we interfere in education, research, culture, sustainability, and so on. And at the latest, we found out that it is very requested to claim for a finance from the European Union. So we applied for 3 times, I think, 3 times. First time and second one was not successful, but this year, yes, we reached the financing. So we are now financed, and the project of this consortium will start at January 2025 in several days, and will last for 4 years and a half. And now we have 11 institutions which are part of this consortium from Portugal, Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, Poland, Slovakia, Sweden, and Turkey. The name of this consortium is Creative EU, and we develop activities not just in these countries, because we are trying to extend more and more our activities, not just to the level to the borders of Europe, but also beyond Europe. So in this respect, we will invite to join our consortium as an associated partners a lot of institutions, a lot of countries, and hope to have also you and Lithuania, if you are not part of the consortium, very near to us. And this is, for your knowledge, the information which was made by the European Commission on 28th of June this year, when the consortium, Creative EU consortium, was approved inside the Erasmus Plus scheme for funding. So this is a very important step for us, because one of the key aspects of our accreditation and our future accreditation is to have, let's say, internationalization. I don't know if you have the same concept in Lithuania for the university, for the academia, but the internationalization is an important indicator for accreditation now in Romania. So with this step to be involved in this kind of consortium, we make a huge step forward, and the integration in a consortium with a big set of activities represent, let's say, a certificate for good and qualitative university. Okay, so just a few words about our university and about our city. And if you have questions at this moment, maybe. If not, okay. I'm going further, and let's try to see some facts about the Romanian educational system. Well, maybe there are several similarities with your educational system, maybe not, but in general we have a legal framework which is determined by three important documents. The most important document, of course, for each country is the Constitution. Is the Constitution, okay? And then we have very fresh laws. Two fresh laws, they are just 1 year old, at school educational law and higher educational law, which was fully operational now, and amend somehow the former educational law, the national education law, which was established in 2011. So these are the main documents that fundamented the education in Romania. But of course, near those important laws, there are a lot of procedures, a lot of regulation which are established by the government and of course by the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education is the body who organizes and who governs the whole national system of education, the whole national research and the technological development of innovation. And in this respect, there are a lot of subordinated institutions who take care about that. We want to think that we have an open system, an open educational system, and a pluralist system. Yes, because let's say near the state schools, state bodies, state educational bodies, we have private schools in this system. We had confessional education, and there are also some alternatives which are provided by several schools. Most of them use the official language, the Romanian language, but also in several cases the education is also carried out in students' mother tongues, especially for the minorities. And also in several cases in universities especially, there are programs who are given in English, in French, in German. So let's say that we are multicultural and multilinguistic in a sense from this aspect, taking into account this aspect. And as claimed by the leaders and our government, the education represents a national priority. Of course, you can say that this is very common to each European country. Even some guys, say that there are not so many proofs that the education now here is really a national priority. Okay. Of course, if we are talking about the recognition of the studies as it's happening in the whole Europe, okay, and with a view to reach the European education area, which must be done till next year. There are also a lot of mechanisms which are already established to have the automatic recognition of deep diplomas and certificates at this European level. And if we are talking about how the system is organized, we cover especially 14 school grades or 14 school years, starting with primary education and finishing with adult education. But from 2030, the junior group from the kindergarten, the junior group of preschool education will become also compulsory. Now we said that, it is compulsory to have 10 years to cover 10 years of study, but there are discussions to include also the preschool education in the future, also compulsory. And of course, public education is free of charge. Here is a diagram who illustrates you how the Romanian educational system is organized, with the column which shows to you that what are the certificates or diplomas who will be given to you after the finishing of each level. But I don't want to bother you with all this discussion. Just very briefly inform you that at the first stage we have the early childhood education and care for children between 3 months and 6 years, with ante-preschool education and preschool education and care. And here in the preschool education and care we have 3 levels: the junior group, middle group, and senior group. And then we have the first let's say, recognition, primary education for 5 years with the preparatory grade and the grades 1 to 4. And then we have lower secondary education, which includes grades from 5 to 8. And next we have high school education, which means grades 9 to 12 in full-time education, or grades 9 to 13 in full-time evening classes and part-time education. And, here in high schools, I try to summarize the paths which are operational at this moment. We have academic path with humanities and science. We have aptitudinal path with sports, arts, pedagogical science, theological, military, and maybe others profiles, and then technological path, which include especially the technical profile, services profiles, and natural resources and environmental protection profiles. And then, of course, we have after high school the possibility for some students to be enrolled in post-secondary non-tertiary education. This can last 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. It depends a lot on the complexity of the qualification which are involved and the number of credits. And higher education, which is also organized on several cycles, mainly on cycle 1, bachelor, cycle 2, master, and cycle 3, PhD or doctorate program. Of course, we take also into account the adult education, which I have to admit that is not so developed here, at least not so developed as in other parts of Europe. Probably this is an indicator at the European level which Romania suffer a lot, because the involvement of adults in adult education is still very, very low, unfortunately. Even, there are several training programs which target to different level of qualification in public or private sector, proposed by different bodies or even by, some schools or for some universities. For the whole system, there are 2 agencies which take care about what's happening in Romanian education. One is the Romanian Agency for Quality Assurance in Pre-University Education, taking care about the whole level, starting with pre-primary till high school. And then the Romanian Agency for Quality Assurance in Higher Education is busy with accreditation, reaccreditation, or authorization of programs which are operational in Romanian university. Okay, if you have questions, or maybe for me it's very interesting if there are some similarities or not with your system. Maybe I want to hear your voice a little bit.
Just a question in chat. I put. You mentioned about evening education for secondary level, and not 12 years, but one additional year. What does it mean? Can you shortly explain?
Yeah, this means that people who did not finish in time, the high school, or did not make the preparation in high school at the, let's say, normal moment. Maybe this is not the correct word, but let me use it. Okay, they have the possibility to follow these courses in a kind of evening format. So they are going to their jobs, and after the jobs they can go to the high school and finish their high school. And of course, if they finish this kind of programs, they have also the possibility to be enrolled in the exam, in the baccalaureate exam. So there is a possibility, and also I'm also very surprised to see there are a lot of students, not so young, but very interested to finish their study in high school, and also some of them maybe at 40 years old, or maybe more, 50 years old, are coming to our university. I remember this year we have a graduate of Babes-Bolyai University over 70 years in history. So yeah, I think the things are moved slowly, but they are moved somehow in our let's say adult mentality, especially for those who did not finish their studies at that moment. Some of them were trained in the communist period, and then were out for work, out of the country for work and for other issues, and then come back. And now they need this kind of preparation. And okay, this is a good possibility, and some of the high schools have this kind of programs. I'm not sure if in Lithuania there is the case of this, let's say, evening classes in high schools. So, are there any similarities with this system?
It's okay. We can continue, and possibly later some more questions.
Yeah. Just to be curious, because in some parts of Europe there are completely different issues related to the organization of the education system, and of course each says that there are a lot of strong points, but also weak points. So I don't say that this is good or very good or medium good or whatever, but it's a let's say mixture of tradition and novelty, yeah, for this kind of stratification organization. Okay, so let's move forward, because the second part of this presentation is oriented of difficulties and challenges in Romanian education. If you open or try to open the internet and check what are the problems on the Romanian education system, you can find a lot. So it's very difficult to keep very near in a small period of time and to discuss, to approach all those difficulties and challenges. There are a lot, but there are some official documents who try to gather and to synthesize those problems. And the first problem met in the system is related to the access to education. And the thing that we have here in our country, social groups, marginalized social groups, we have minorities. And those kind of groups have a lot of difficulties related to access to education. And I'm referring here especially to the Roma minority children. You know what I'm talking about, Roma minority children, yes? In the past, they were called in a word like gypsies. So we do not have the, let's say, the right to say gypsies today. And that's why we try to change the world with the Roma minority children. But not them are let's say, part of these groups who has limited access to education. We are talking about disabled children. We are talking about enough children who are coming from the rural part of Romania, because in Romania you can still find some rural areas very, very anchored in the past. You can say for some areas like this that we return somehow in the time when you are there. We have also very poor families, and in those poor families there are a lot of poor children, because in general poor families have a lot of children. Then now we are discussing about refugees. What is happening in Ukraine now, and we received, starting with 2022, a lot of refugees. They are coming with children, and their children must be somehow enrolled in the educational system. And believe or not, we have also children who lack birth certificates, and those groups are very vulnerable, and the access to education for those groups is very difficult at this moment. And according to the statistic, according to the World Bank, by example, around 70% of Roma people live in poverty, and the poverty, does not offer access to a proper education. And usually these Roma people, these Roma children, stop their education eventually after 2 years, after 3 years, after 4 years, due to different reasons. So here we have, and I mentioned here, lower enrollment rates, higher dropout rates, and I don't want to talk about their literacy, because in this study they said that their illiteracy rate is 10 times higher than for other students in Romania. Also, I discussed about children who are coming from rural areas, and it is strange to see that even at this moment, 16% for ages 7 to 10 and 25%, a quarter of this cohort of ages 11 to 14 are not enrolled in primary education. Yes, these are figures which usually you don't find it on the official channels, but very rare when there are some reports, when there are some discussion, big discussion, a decisive discussion about the future of education. These figures are put in the front of those who must take care about education. And the problem is how should we address education to those kind of people? What can we do for them? It's important. And if we are discussing about rural areas, we can discuss about the number of the schools, because in the last year there are a lot of schools who were closed at the moment due to the lack of children. There are very few, and they try to take those children and try to move to big schools, but not so near from their houses. And there we discuss about the infrastructure of the rural schools, and so on and so on. And as I told you, also disabled children has also a lot of problem to access to education. Well, I discussed very few issues with Vincentas before our meeting about this problem, and really it's a big challenge for the Romanian education, and probably for Eastern European states education. Now it is a big idea to let a part at least of these disabled children to be involved in ordinary classes, to be integrated in this kind of classes. And we have a lot of teachers who are coming to us and saying it is very difficult. They are not trained, they are not prepared for facing this challenge. They do not know what to do with them and how to interfere with them, and so on and so on. So there is a lot of needs for preparing these teachers to work with the disabled children. And if you are looking to these figures, 40% of those students with disabilities are placed in segregated school or do not participate in education at all. This is, let's say, the black part of our education at the moment. And it is very difficult to discuss. And probably even we have a special school here in the city. Yes, the teachers are working with those students. Yes, and the teachers are very dedicated. They are full of problems, and it is very difficult to hear them, because year after year the same major problems are being let on the blackboard. So we need a lot of work to do in this direction. So access to education seems to be, according to the statistics, the major problem for this kind of students, the major problem in Romania. And another difficulty or challenge is related to the quality of education. And here, well, we are not so proud. We are not so proud with the figures. And I don't want to introduce you more, because if you are looking to the internet, there are graphs and graphs and graphs and statistics who show what is the level of the literacy, and the literacy is mainly directed to the scientific literacy, to the even to the let's say IT literacy. Romania, despite the massive intervention in equipped schools and institutions with computers and technology, it is in the back of European Union. Okay, so 42% of Romanian students in the primary and lower secondary education are functional illiterate. What is this? This means that they are able, let's say, they are able to read, they are able to make to read fluently, some text, but they have a lot of difficulties to understand what they are reading. So this big level of literacy or illiteracy, it's a major problem in our education. So and then we are discussing about the dropout rate. The dropout rate in Romania is the highest rate in the whole Europe. At least it was in 2021, but very few is changed. Especially we passed a pandemic time, we passed a very difficult time, and I am afraid that the rate of dropout of schools is more than 50% in the last 2 years. So even there are a lot of programs which became operational in the last years related to the limitation of this dropout rate. The problem is still everywhere. The government allow a lot of money to limit that, but it seems that not just money help to limit this process. So we have also different arguments, and some experts try to explain what is happening. And here we have a lot of issues that interfere with this dropout rate. And here I mentioned socio-cultural issues or health issues. It's incredible to have this kind of rate. That if I'm going to the university, by example, I'm not sure what is the rate in Lithuania, but here in Romania, after 1 year of study, so students after 1 year of study or during the first year of study, they drop out. The rate of the dropping out in universities after the first year is almost 25%, which is a lot, due to different reasons. And we have to take into consideration here also the conditions, the sanitary conditions, especially in rural areas. And in rural areas, look, just 72% of schools have basic drinking water and hygiene service. So it is the same, very embarrassing, because it's one of the lowest in Europe. And if we are talking about the conditions, we are talking about, let's say, fire safety authorization. There are very few schools who have this certification related to fire safety authorization. So here it's another problem that our decision makers must solve. And a few ideas ago, we discussed about literacy and illiteracy. And please don't look to the last PISA test. You will see also Romania in the bottom of the European Union states, because unfortunately for reading, mathematics, sciences, and also for digital knowledge, we are in the back. And the problem is that we have to change something in the way different disciplines are taught. And here I'm talking first about mathematics, and about science, and also about literature, Romanian language, and sometimes maybe the teachers do not make what can be made. Yes, effectively what can be made, and they are very happy. Some of our teachers are very happy with this situation. If you are asking them, okay, on the scale of from 0 to 100, give you a mark, give you a kind of appreciation, and to this question, most of them, maybe more than 90%, said, okay, we are fully happy with what we are doing in the classroom. Unfortunately, this kind of results are also an image of the teachers who train these students. So we cannot talk about to be happy in this context, because we are far away from, let's say, the other European countries, and let's say our neighbors also are far away in this sense. So here is a big challenge, and probably the next year we will record in the next year some changes related to this aspect. And here I put also some issues about the sex education, and it's very challenging, this discussion, but take into consideration that we have here in Romania the biggest proportion of teenage mother in the whole European Union countries. And here is the figure for 2020. 357 children were born to mothers between 10 and 14. And when it comes to discussion for this kind of education, the whole society, almost, not the whole, but almost the whole society is against introducing these discussions in school from early years. Okay, this is a very sensible matter, a very sensible aspect. So I don't know what can we do to discuss very seriously about sex education in our schools, in our lower secondary schools at least. Continuing the discussion about this big challenge related to quality in education, maybe it is good to discuss about the teachers. Romania started to lose teachers. Now think that I want to give you a figure. We have in the lower and secondary education 1,000 of teachers who are retired. Yes, teachers of physics who are retired, and I was shocked to see this this figure. This means that the interest of young generation for being a teacher, especially in these sensible areas, mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and not only, is very low. So who will train the next generation of students? So we are thinking, and there are some statistics which said that in 10 years we will not have teachers in mathematics and science, by example. Okay. Not just the interest in these difficult areas, in these difficult disciplines is low. But maybe we can talk about qualification of those teachers. Maybe we can talk about the salaries. Well, I'm not sure what are the salaries in Lithuania, by example. Probably they are also not so big, but low salaries means also no interest in being a teacher. And here low societal appreciation of teachers, so was falling down a lot in the last years. Okay, I say every time to the students, to my students, that a teacher here is very exposed to everything. It seems that, you know, the students, their parents have a lot of rights, but the teachers, yes, lost their rights step by step. So we are very exposed to a lot of problems, a lot of challenges. So for some colleagues, it's very difficult. They say it's very difficult still to be a teacher in our country. And I don't want to talk about the salaries. Let's say with the last, efforts made by the government last year.
Gabriel, just one question. I see that average around 1,000 euros per month. It means for all teachers or just for some level, for example,
this is an average, and here I'm talking about how much money are in the hands of the teacher, because if we are talking about the gross salaries, of course you have to double this, but almost half of the salary is taken by the state back, like taxes,
because starting from next year, from January 1st, in Lithuania, the minimal salary, officially established minimal salary, it will be 1,038 euros.
Yeah, but you are talking about the gross salaries. The gross salaries with all the taxes included, yes? Okay.
And one question in the chat, if possible, at the same time, can you shortly comment?
Yeah. But I do not open the chat now. Maybe in the end, I will try to take all the questions, and if we have time to answer. This is an average. Of course, things are a little bit increased in the last year. But I think that the minimum salary in Romania, starting with 1st of January, but I don't want to be wrong, maybe will be around 800. But again, this is the gross salary with all the taxes included. The government take almost half of this. So make the calculation. And here, 1,000 euros, it is without taxes. Yes, Vincentas, without taxes. Okay. Of course, in the university are a little bit larger, but I'm talking about as an average for the whole educational system. Oh, okay. And then we have to talk also about the implication of digital knowledge and digital literacy in Romania. Even, I told you, we have a good infrastructure, especially in schools, and also, in the normal life, we have a good connection to internet. We have equipment which are not so expensive. I have to admit that. The basic information technology literacy is very low. In Romania, we have little over 50% of students between 15 and 90 who prove basic IT skills, which is not enough. Half of the people, of the young people, we are talking all the time about the Z generation and their ability to learn, very intuitive, to work with these devices. And we see, and I was shocked really last week, that for them, what IT means is Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and just that. So even I explained to them that it is not enough. Yes, for proving your IT skills and the digital literacy, yes, it is very difficult to take them from this sphere of knowledge, which is very limited to some, social media and things like that. There is also the lack of equipment. We can discuss about that. Lack of qualified teachers, and what is happening in the rural areas is clear. Lack of digital infrastructure and internet. And in the end, here related to quality of education, we have in the law that the government must offer to education at least 6% from the country's GDP. And there are governments in the past who allocated maybe a little bit over 2%, 2.5%, and the last government promised 3.7%. Or this is not enough for facing difficulties, for facing challenges in our educational system. There are also some difficulties and challenges. Yes, we have to talk a little bit about discrimination and violence, which is still present in our educational system. And here, again, we have to discuss about Roma students experience discrimination in the Romanian system. We discussed a lot about sexual harassment, which is recorded especially in the last years. And we have here a figure 30% of female students. And in the university, it seems that this ratio is going to 50%, which is terrible. And discussing about bullying, we have also a terrible figure here. 82% of the students have witnessed bullying at school. Unfortunately, with all the interventions, with all the programs, with all the projects, with all the money that we input in, let the bullying away from schools and from our life, this rate is still very, very, very high. So with a lot of implication in the life, in the educational activities and so on, in the whole learning process. It's terrible to discuss about that, but we have to admit that we face a very challenging issue related to sexual harassment and bullying, and probably there is need for more intervention for not just for the teachers, also family must be involved in this process. Decision makers, specialists, doctors, and so on and so. It's a lot to do and to discuss in this respect. We do not want to let the effects of COVID-19 in education. Unfortunately, after the ending of the period which started in 2020 and last year till 2022, so 2 years and a half. Okay, at least I had the impression to be, fraud in the past somehow. So okay, we had at that moment online education, and we tried desperately to keep the education near the students, near the family and families, near the teachers. We made a lot of efforts, and believe me, for us it was a very, very challenging period. And for 2 years, we lost a lot of time for organizing things, for making things as better as we can to have students near us and to keep them in the school. But there are traces, and I'm sure that in Lithuania there are the same traces as in Romania. Even we increased the rate of access to internet, even in rural areas. Even we offer a lot of equipment, especially in school disadvantages school. Even we increase, the participation of the people. Yes, in let's say restoring the digital knowledge and so on. We still have problems which remains from that period. Then discussing about IT skill, we noticed that at the end of the pandemic, 15% of students who did not attend online classes reported that the reason was the teacher did not give classes online. So it is terrible now to discover that in that period there are these kind of issues that had impact on the students. And more, there are still 13% of students who reported that they did not know how to use online platform, which is terrible. The problem is that after all those changes which were recorded in that period, now it is a very much a relaxation, especially from the teachers, and I'm not talking about just the students here, a relaxation related to working in this kind of platforms, using technology, and so on. And even in our university, we find out that, let's say, more than half of our colleagues do not use that infrastructure. Do not use. Some students ask also me, okay, but I did not enter in the platform. I don't remember my credentials. I don't remember my password, and so on. Okay, so it's a pity. It's a pity to let away all these, things that with very, very hard work were put in practice at that moment. Vincentas told me that you still work, and even for master students, we have just online classes and so on. But it's good, okay. It's good. Now we try to open again the system with February next year, when the second semester will start, and at least for 25 or 30% from the activities to have also in the online format. Now it is not possible. Okay, but maybe we do not need, to take everything from the zero. We have a lot of things which are ready made. So we have to continue our work in this respect, and to develop these skills and these competencies, the digital competencies of our students, even they are in the university. Yeah, there is a permanently need for updating in this respect. And I include here a challenge, a very important challenge, because we are working in science education and in STEAM education a lot, and we have a lot of projects that maybe we have still some time to show you some results of our projects. Okay, because there are still old approaches which are used in STEAM education, and from the students' part, there is also a low interest in following, rigorously the STEAM education format. Well, if we are talking about the next generation of scientists or engineers or mathematicians, by example, we have big problems. Yeah, in the universities, the most difficult issue now is to have students in this kind of specialization. From our point of view here in the university, it's very difficult to have 20 or 25 students in the first year of study enrolled in the program dedicated to mathematics or in physics or in chemistry. We do not have in biology. Okay, so and we tried desperately in going in the high schools and discussing with the teachers, science teachers, to see what are the problems, what is happening, because when they are young, primary, yes, students are very interested. They are very open to science. They are engaged in science in many ways, but their interest is falling down in the lower secondary school and very low in the upper secondary school. So this low interest of young generation in science and engineering means urgently, measures for developing, for starting to work again with them in terms of understanding science, understanding what is around them, and of course taking more care about these students. We propose in all the projects we have here, yes, to try to develop the critical thinking, to try to develop their creativity, to try to work in to be engaged in the teamwork and so on, to discuss with STEAM professionals, to discuss with scientists, to meet in the university or in other parts, in museums, in other scientific format, with people who can tell them more about science. And here we have to make everything for determine their curiosity and passion for experimenting and also for playing. This is a change in the school mentality, in the teacher's mentality, maybe in the family's mentality, but we need to make something this, because STEAM education is very poor represented at this level in the last years, and this is happening also starting with, let's say, 20 years ago maybe, from the first signs that show us that there is no interest in that direction. And here the Ministry of Education introduced in several years, in the last years, two programs. One program is called School in Another Way, and the second program is the Green Week. Both programs last for 1 week during the school year. One different week, 1 week for School in Another Way, 1 week for the Green Week. So it is supposed that in both weeks to have more meetings with science professionals, with the museums, with science centers and so on. The problem is that in the last year, most of the students received a lot of information related to cultural aspects. They have a lot of excursions, but not in this kind of centers. So let's say they developed a kind of entertainment aspects of, School in Another Way in Green Week. And probably we need more contact with science, because both weeks were planned to be more to bring students more to science than and now I finished with this, let's say, second part. And for the last part, okay, I have just 5 minutes for the last part, Vincentas. Okay, so I want to skip for this from these sites, from these slides, okay, because it's about how science is valorized at our level here, and I want to tell you what we have done in this respect to bring students near science. We are starting from these challenges. Okay, first, are we prepared to understand the latest challenges of science? And here we have a lot of discussions, and also the teachers, science teachers in school, have this kind of discussion with their students. I told you that the number of scientists ready to come up with solutions, okay, is, and probably they're not interfere so much with the young generation. We have to know what are the issues that must focus our attention on science and technology. We can discuss about the involvement of women in science. Okay, we have to analyze and have to see that our educational system are prepared to promote science in schools, and to answer to this important question: why is our young people interest in science so low? The decline of interest for science is clear. We have the ROCAD report. We discussed about this also last year in Šiauliai. In the conference, we start the discussion from this alarm sign. At that moment, it is still very actual. It's still, we discussed 20 years ago about that. We still discussed about that. So what is happening in 15, 20 years? What was happening? What have been done in that part? Because we discussed about the same issues like 15 and 20 years ago. So I will pass about this, and just to show you a few things. In the beginning, starting with the first years after the ROCAD report, we tried to develop, and at that moment in 2007, we proposed a project that introduced virtual experiments, virtual simulation, virtual instrumentation in education. It was very difficult at that moment to discuss about that because we did not have proper infrastructure, but with the help, together with the help of some enthusiast teachers from Spain, from Poland, from Finland, from Greece, from Romania, we developed a lot of materials at that moment that help teachers and students to understand science, especially, dedicated in principle and linked with the curricula. Okay, it was very difficult at that time. Yes, to have experiments, even virtual, which are beyond the curricula. Da, liniște. Okay, and mai am jumătate de oră. Măcar. Da. Okay, and then we discuss about the possibility to make a virtual lab. On another project, we proposed a virtual lab with digital tools and with other tools that again help students to understand science. And this project was dedicated to nano science, nanotechnology, let's say the micro world, or the world in micro, and proposed a lot of experience, a lot of simulations, a lot of videos, a lot of podcasts related to that issue. And it was a project full of success at that moment. And then we have profiles. When we opened the discussion about inquiry-based science education for students and teachers, and it was a research project that involved 22 institutions from 20 countries. And we were very, very happy after this project and after this, let's say, work. And here you have some modules that were raised up and was implemented in the classroom at that moment. We were happy that after this project, we have a teacher of physics from secondary education who worked with our specialists and educational experts at the national level. And when it was imposed, inquiry-based science education was imposed, at least for physics teachers, as compulsory in their work. And then we have responsible research and innovation proposed as a medium for spreading science to students. And we have here learning modules for formal activities, for non-formal activities, and also themes of discussion in informal learning who are proposed to teachers and students. A lot of work also on this project with exhibition, local, national, international exhibition, with participation in researchers night and the museum night. It was a huge effort which exploits a model which was called engage, explore, explain, extend, evaluate, and exhibit. So a 6E model who was successful, but again, we had a lot of results in those kind of projects. The problem is that we need to spread them as much as we can, and also we claim teachers, science teachers who are open and who are ready to introduce this kind of new methods in their classroom. Usually, when you ask a science teacher here about the curricula, by example, they said, "Oh, it's too dense, too much themes, too much approaches. We do not have time. It's a lot of time, and we have just a limited number of hours, and so on and so on." And it's very, very difficult to convince that they need to change their way of teaching. Here we have the Engage project, which try to introduce a kind of model based on adopt, adapt, and transform scheme. And we took I remember, things which happening around us, very usual, very known. Let's say, grow in your own body, Bangkok, Ebola, and many issues which were introduced in for teachers and students. And of course, we have also here interesting issues that are important for them, and let them know that science can be taught in another way that it was taught, let's say, traditionally. We discuss about the science capital, starting from the capital of Karl Marx, okay, and try to explain what does it mean, this science capital, and how we can develop their science capital. And here in the Connect project, based on open schooling, especially science action and participatory science, we bring the care, know, do model, which was proposed to the schools in some clear aspects of curricula. We discussed about rewilding. We discussed about plastics and biodegradable plastics. We discussed about neutral carbon. We discussed about green energy and sustainable development. Some of these topics were also presented last year in the conference in Šiauliai, and we have interventions about this in the conference. Okay, and I will skip this to the end because probably we have some 15 minutes for questions. And
2 minutes for
Vincentas, if you invite me again to Šiauliai, maybe the colleagues who are now okay, we can make a workshop with them and hope to be held and alive till till summer, and we can discuss more about that because we have a lot of things to do. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you is our initiative to the Open Schooling Declaration, which is signed at this moment by a lot of teachers and professors and scientists in the whole world. It's an initiative which try to promote the open schooling movement. Okay, I will show you, and probably I have to copy and paste this for you and let you to spread this link to everybody. And it's a kind of invitation to read this Open Schooling Declaration, which is based on some principles. Okay, there are 12 principles here, and some recommendations for those who do not know what is open schooling. Think that open schooling, it's a kind of school who is open to the whole community and is based on promoting science and promoting cooperation between all the partners, starting from students, teachers, parents, till scientists and people who are very deeply involved in the science. Okay, so I don't want to bother you with some conclusions related especially to our national curriculum and science in Romania, or how science is taught in Romania. Well, sorry for this fast presentation in the last part. I want to thank you very much for your attention, and I hope there are some things which were interesting for you in this short time. Well, I can't.
Thanks, Gabriel.
Yes, my feeling is that it was too short time for everything. Even you said 1 hour and a half.
It's a typical situation, you know, that so rich presentation, but somehow you managed to explain 100 and plus one slide,
my students tell me every time that teacher, if we let you to discuss with us 24 hours, you will not be tired. So thank you once again, and I want to collect a few questions if possible.
Oh yes, sure. Please open chat and possible.
Okay, so the first one, I can't understand. Pasmane neveikia microfonas. I don't know what to say to this.
No, this is not.
The second one, what does it mean, evening education? Well, I hope I answered to you.
Yeah.
Yes, in the previous intervention about that, part-time for secondary level. Okay, mainly, you know, this is the kind of education which is dedicated to the people who did not finish at their time, you know, ordinary time, normal time, their preparation. But this is for high school. Yes, this is for high school. And the Romanian schooling system loses tens of thousands of students by graduation. Oh my God. Yes, unfortunately, yes. And we had a project for 5 years, started in 2017 December, yes, and last till 2022 in December. For 5 years, we try to see what's happening, and we discussed with a lot of students, but not with the students, with their parents. Well, some of the challenges and problems that we discussed before remain the same. And here we are talking about students from disadvantaged area, students who are living far away from the university, students who had not the possibility, yes, to keep in the same time their job and their studies, you know, due to different issues. But we have here another issue, the orientation, the school orientation, which had to be made in the, let's say, upper secondary education time. Yes, the problem is that some of the students finished their high schools, took the graduation, and then where to go? Because, you know, in some parts, for some, let's say, disciplines, it is it is recorded a lot of interest. I think that for many specializations, you have to go just with your diploma, with the baccalaureate diploma. There is no admission, there is no exam. There is just to show some documents. And the problem is that in some of the high schools, the marks that those students took is a little bit under the marks that in some, let's say, second-hand schools are recorded. So, and then the orientation is like that. I want to go to the university. It doesn't matter where, because I want to go in the university. Of course, with my average marks, I cannot enter. It's clear I cannot enter to a specialization which is wanted by me, but it doesn't matter. I go to anywhere to be involved in the university knowledge. So students are coming, let's say, in engineering studies, and after one semester they said, oh, it's too difficult, this is not for me, it's too much mathematics, it's too much physics, chemistry, material study, technical drawing, and so on and so on. So they are not prepared for that. So for them, this is a big shock. And they say, oh, this is not for me, I have to quit, and maybe next year I will go to another specialization which is more near to my preparation. And the questioning about orientation, counseling and orientation in high school, it's still a challenge. Till the pandemic times, it was one counselor for maybe more than 1,000 students. So one counselor to several hundreds, 2 or 3 schools. It was very difficult to meet, the students and to discuss, try to see what are their best aptitudes, what are their best, competencies, and so on and so on. Try to orient, to discuss with them where to go, what are the studies, proper studies to follow, and so on and so on. So this is an aspect who take a lot of time for us to analyze, because we have also students who quit, who give up, and also here in the teacher training department, in the psychopedagogical preparation for being a teacher, there are also, I think, more than half of them quit after 1 year, after 2 years. Okay, most of them say, I realize that this is not my future. I cannot be a teacher due to several reasons. Yeah. So I think the discussion related to counseling and orientation mostly in upper secondary education must be taken very serious in that way. Okay. And also there are other issues like money, like distance, but we do not have time to discuss more here.
Yes.
Hungarians are the largest minority group. Yes, there are maybe 8%. And even though minority language education is allowed by law of Hungarian students, they often have no access to do it due to the shortage of teachers. Can you comment on this? Shortly. I have a lot of friends in the Hungarian countries in Romania, and I have to admit there are very smart people, very clever. And the problem is mixed. I think that there is also a course. There are also courses for Romanian language in this Hungarian school, okay, who are trained by Hungarian teachers. And of course, maybe it is better to take into account to have a Romanian native teacher to teach Romanian language at Hungarian one. So their preparation in Romanian language is very low. In some cases, if you are going to a shop, by example, in one of those cities, you cannot understand each other in Romanian language. And for us, it's a little bit frustrating to be in your country and to not understand each other. So maybe here, yes, we have to do more for these people and to let them understand. And some of their parents are smart and discussed with us these aspects, yes, that their future is here in Romania. And it's a big chance for them to know also Romanian language very well, not just Hungarian language, because the chances to be enrolled in the Hungarian economy, by example, Hungarian labor market, is not so big as probably somebody think about that. And some of them do not want to go to Hungary. This is interesting because they thought, oh no, we will not go to Budapest. Why to go there? We want to stay here. But okay, we respect the cultural, we respect the tradition, we respect everything from this point of view. And as I know, Romania is one of the most open countries related to the rights of the minorities in Europe. Even some parts of the politicians, of Hungarian politicians, do not recognize that. I'm so sorry to say you that. I don't know how, by example, the Russian minority is treated in Lithuania now, or I do not know about what other minorities are in your country, but we are very open. We try to understand them, and really, I like a lot, their traditions and their food, Vincentas, and everything which is related to Hungary, because they are very nice people, very good and very open. Sorry?
Goulash, for example, we discussed with colleagues what they had for lunch. We said goulash.
Goulash. Yes. That's
possible
interesting.
Possible last question about violence.
Yeah. Okay. If you are looking to the official papers, but you have to choose the best ones, the real ones, because when we reported in a project what's happening, you can read that everything is increased, it is better, it is okay. But what's happening in school now is the limitation of the teacher's authority. I told you that we do not have so many rights as we had in the past. We cannot interfere with a lot of issues that are happening now in schools. And for some of our colleagues, it is very difficult to maintain the discipline in the classroom. And in some cases, the directors are very afraid of what can happen in those cases. Bullying, aggressions, violence is everywhere, really. And for me, I have two justification in this sense. One is related to the extensively using of internet and what is happening in internet. And we discuss about TikTok, about Facebook, about video clips which are about the games they are playing in internet and so on and so on. If you are looking to them, they are full of violence. Okay, they are also trained in the families like that. Okay, so it's very difficult to fight with some mentalities, because in some cases their parents are coming to school and try to attack the teachers. So this is not a joke. And there are a lot of efforts which are made by teachers to have an alarm sign, a real alarm sign in society. Last year we have a teacher of Japanese language who was, how to say it, with a knife by a student, with a very good student. Yes, was attacked with a knife in the classroom by one of the best students in the school. So it's happening, and we see the influence made by the internet, and that's why here we have now a discussion about forbidden till 16 years old, the internet, especially the access to this social media and so on. But I'm not sure if this will be happen. And the second one,
possible Romania should follow Australia approach.
Yeah, I know. And now US, Vincentas, US is discussing very seriously about that. And probably my last comment now, what's happening here in our system, in our educational system, and I think this is the main reason of being where we are now, is the intervention of politics in education. Started with 2002, think that we have a lot of people who are very, very near to the politics in education. Directors of school, inspectors, mostly all of them are named politically, and this is the terrible issue that's happened to the Romanian education. The massive intervention of politics in education. And the laws, both laws education follow some political, let's say, interferences and gaps where some parts can enter and change some issues, some things here.
Possible, like a general conclusion that not all is only about money, because
I did not discuss so much about money, but entering contact with some Romanian teachers, probably this will be the first issue that have to be discussed. But you do not make this profession for the money. It is clear. It's vocation. It's the love for the students. Well, if we discuss it, but if we start to discuss about the money, then we do not solve problems. It's a part of the problem. Yes, it's a part. In fact, it's a part of the solution. But we must discuss about that first.
Okay, possible some students have some final comments or some extra questions.
Please, I invite the students. I do not see them.
Would be
just
nice.
Victoria.
Please, we have a few more minutes, and it would be nice to. If not, also I think it was rich material. Obviously, you will share your presentation.
Okay. I will share with you. I will send to you, Vincentas, maybe tomorrow.
Okay.
Yes, well, because it's too big. Now I notice it's too big and I cannot send by email. But I will try a solution to let you know about this material. And if we meet in the conference, maybe we can also meet your teachers, wonderful teachers, and have a kind of workshop with them.
Of course.
I invite them. Starting with this moment, I invite them in your nice city.
Yes, you know that invitation is valid. It's continuous invitation, and our next symposium in June in middle of June next year. Let's hope that everything will be all right, and we will meet again. And we continue our discussion on this.
Hope to have the possibility and to reach Šiauliai next year. Yeah, I want to do that, but it's a lot of time till then. Who knows what's happening?
On the other hand, you can invite my master students to Romania. Why not? For example,
why not? If you had an agreement with Romania, okay, an Erasmus Plus agreement, by example, yeah, okay, don't throw this opportunity to come. Romania is a very nice country. My students, what are you saying? Is okay? Romania is a wonderful country or not? Yes. Look, my students say yes, okay, with half of their mouth, of course. Yeah. And okay, if you have the opportunity, and for all of you, this is valid. If you have the opportunity to come, please come. And yeah, as I told you, I like the Lithuanian people. I like Lithuanian, and I have good friends there.
Okay.
And you are very good. You are very good in hockey and basketball.
Oh, it's like a religion. It's a religion. It's not simple.
Maybe more basketball than ice hockey. Yes, more basketball.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
And by the way, what is the main dish in Romania? National dish, because we discussed before.
Mici or sarmale? Sarmale. You know, sarmale it's a kind of Oriental dish. It's minced meat with some garlic, with some rice, which is rolled in a cabbage or in a grape leaf, and you can put in a big pot, one near one. Add some tomato sauce, some condiments, and some spices, and boil for 4, 5, 6 hours. 5 hours. Fierte sarmale. 6 hours. You know, I have just girls here, and they know better than me how to make sarmale.
Okay, please send the recipe together with your presentation.
Okay.
I will distribute to my students. Possible, we will try to prepare some homework. Yeah, you know.
Okay, and you have to send to us some pictures with that.
Okay.
To vote. Okay.
Thanks once again to Gabriel. It was really nice and nice presentation, rich presentation in good atmosphere and emotionally good. And keep well and safe, and don't be so strong with your students.
No. I'm like a father for them. Yeah, and please say yes. Nobody's saying yes. Okay, thank you once again for your time, and hope to see you very, very soon.
Yeah,
and
good luck.
Happy New Year, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Yeah,
it's very near.
Bye.
Okay, bye to all. Bye.